Vande Mataram. Dear friends, I welcome you back to my channel Courtroom Battles. My name is Dr. Tushar Mandlekar and I am discussing provisions of various laws and Supreme Court judgments in this particular channel. If you are a student of law or an aspiring lawyer or have some interest in law, please join my channel Courtroom Battles. Dear friends, today we are going to discuss the provisions related to the bail. The concept of bail needs to be understood by every criminal lawyer who needs to practice in criminal law. If you are an aspiring lawyer or a criminal lawyer, you must know all these provisions of the bail and how can you apply to the magistrate for securing the bail of an accused who is your client. Dear friends, no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. This is the fundamental right given to every citizen of this country under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. So we all know that the personal liberty and freedom of individual is at most important. But at the same time, there are provisions related to the arrest, and if you have committed an offence, then police can arrest you. Police has got powers to arrest an individual without the warrant also. Once the accused is arrested and allegations are against him in the first information report, the first and foremost duty for a lawyer is to apply for the bail. We are going to discuss the provisions of the bail and how do you get the bail from the criminal court. So let us discuss the concept of bail. What is bail has not been defined into the Criminal Procedure Code. But according to the dictionary meaning, the process of releasing a person from custody can be said as a bail. So if you are arrested by police for committing some offence, then the first and foremost duty is to secure a bail. Now bail application can be filed under section 436 for the bailable offences. We are going to discuss 4 types of applications and the 4 concepts of bail in this video today. First is application of the bail for the bailable offences under section 436 of the CRPC. Second is application of the bail for non-bailable offences under section 437 of the CRPC. Third is anticipatory bail under section 438 of the CRPC. And fourth and foremost is default bail under section 167(2) of the CRPC. Dear friends, we all know that if the offence is registered, first information report is registered by the police, then the offence is categorized into 2 parts. One is bailable offence and another is non-bailable offence. So if the offence is found to have been committed, which is a bailable offence, then it becomes a matter of a right to accused person to get the bail in police station itself. This particular application is under section 436 of the CRPC. Usually, the offences are said to be of not much serious nature and therefore this bailable offence can be treated in police station and the bail can be granted. The police station officer has to grant the bail himself by securing a surety or a bail bond. Now we all know that many a times a person is illiterate or do not know the provisions of the law. But there are a number of judgments by which it is stated that it is the duty of the police officer to explain the nature of the offence to the accused and also tell him the right of the bail which he can get. If the offence is non-bailable, then the application has to be moved before the magistrate in the court of law and the police has to produce the accused within 24 hours before the criminal court. Now second part is bail to be secured under section 437 of the CRPC. Under this provision, Dear friends, bail is granted to person who has committed non-bailable offences. When an application is filed before the Honorable Magistrate under Section 437 of the CRPC to seek the bail for committing non-bailable offences, it becomes the matter of discretion for the Honorable Magistrate to give the bail. It is not the right of the accused to seek the bail, but there are tests and parameters which are already defined by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, which are required to be considered by every magistrate while deciding the bail application. There are several conditions which can be imposed on an accused while granting the bail. Let us see what are the factors and parameters which are required to be mandatorily considered by every magistrate while granting bail under Section 437 of the CRPC. Honorable Magistrate has to see 6 factors while deciding the bail application. It is always a discretion of the magistrate to grant the bail or reject the bail. But if you are a criminal lawyer, you are required to address all these 6 issues. Number 1, the nature of alleged offence and severity of the punishment if the accused is convicted. Dear friends, if the offence is more serious, then there is a less possibility of getting a bail. We have seen the offences which attract life imprisonment or death penalty, then it becomes difficult for a court to give the bail. Number 2, reasonable apprehension of the accused tempering the witness or threatening the complainant. If the accused comes out of the jail and threatens the complainant or tempers the witnesses, or if there is a reasonable apprehension, then the bail cannot be granted to the accused. Number 3, securing presence of accused in trial or likelihood of the accused fleeing from the justice. The entire concept of grant of bail is to give personal liberty and freedom to the accused, but at the same time to secure his presence at the time of the trial. If the accused cannot remain present on a designated date on a criminal trial, then it is difficult for the court to grant the bail. Popularly known as flight risk, this flight risk is an important aspect which needs to be argued and considered by the magistrate while granting or denying the bail. If the person can secure himself at the time of trial on every date and gives an undertaking, the person can get the bail. Number 4, antecedents or circumstances peculiar to the accused. If the accused is a history sheeter, has got a lot of offences already registered against him, or is a proven criminal, then bail can be denied. But if accused is a first-time offender, or a qualified person, or a government servant, then it becomes easier for the court to grant the bail. Number 5, whether prima facie offence is made out on the basis of the FIR or not. Dear friends, the magistrate has to read the entire FIR and allegations in the complaint. If the prima facie offence is not made out even after reading the allegations in the FIR, then it's easier for a magistrate to grant the bail. Number 6, significant interest of public or the state. While granting the bail, the Honorable Court has to see whether the freedom of the accused is necessary at this particular point of time. If the accused is freed, then whether he becomes the threat to the society or not, that needs to be considered. Now, dear friends, if you are a criminal lawyer, you have to all plead into the bail application. Bail application needs to be drafted very carefully, and all these factors are required to be argued. At the same time, dear friends, it is also advisable for a criminal lawyer to argue that I am ready to abide by the conditions, whatever may be imposed by this Honorable Court while granting the bail. The bail is usually granted on certain conditions. The popular conditions are: the accused is required to remain present as and when called by the investigating officer for the purpose of interrogation or investigation. Another condition is always given is depositing certain amount as a surety. Another condition can be imposed that the accused may undertake to deposit his passport, if at all he has the passport, or he cannot leave the city or the country without the prior permission of the magistrate. This is a flight risk proposition. So dear friends, bail can be denied or bail can be granted after considering all these factors by the magistrate while granting the bail under section 437 of the CRPC. The third and most important factor, dear friends, is anticipatory bail. Under section 438 of the CRPC, bail in anticipation can always be applied for and can be obtained by a probable accused. An applicant can move an application before the Sessions Court or High Court to get the bail in anticipation. If there is a reasonable apprehension that the person can be arrested by the police authorities on a complaint for non-bailable offences, then anticipatory bail can be sought. It is quite clear that if the offence is bailable, then there is no need of anticipatory bail at all. The offence is bailable, therefore the police authorities can grant the bail in the police station itself. So for the purpose of seeking an anticipatory bail, the nature of the offence has to be non-bailable offence and it has to be a more serious offence. This application can either be moved to the Session Court or the High Court. Both the courts have powers to give anticipatory bail. While seeking anticipatory bail, burden of proof is always on an applicant and he has to prove that there is a reasonable apprehension of getting arrested. Dear friends, the accused or the applicant has to convince the Honorable Magistrate that he may be arrested. The Magistrate may tell the applicant that let there be an offence registered, then we can see. But it is necessary for the accused to prove that he has a case on merit to get the anticipatory bail. The next important case is default bail under section 167(2) of the CRPC. Dear friends, accused can seek a default bail in all non-bailable offences when the prosecution fails to file the charge sheet within a designated period. If the charge sheet is not filed within 60 days for the offences inviting jail below 10 years, then the accused is entitled to get the default bail. If the charge sheet is not filed within 90 days for all those offences inviting jail or imprisonment above 10 years, then the accused can move an application for the default bail. Dear friends, non-bailable offences automatically gets converted into bailable offence in this case of a default bail. Accused gets right to bail. Dear friends, in all non-bailable offences, we have seen that the accused do not have a right to get the bail. It is a discretion of the magistrate. But in this particular case, if the charge sheet is not filed by the prosecution or the police authorities in court of law within a designated period of 60 or 90 days, then the accused gets right to get the bail. That is called as default bail. Dear friends, we will have to remember that the date from which the period of 60 or 90 days is required to be calculated is the date of the arrest of the individual person. So this is the fourth concept of the default bail. Dear friends, there are a number of case laws which are available for the applicant or the accused to argue before the court of law to seek the bail. Honorable Supreme Court in Husainara Khatun versus State of Bihar 1979 CRLJ 1036 Supreme Court has elaborated that even a poor person may be required to get the bail without giving a surety or without giving a bail bond. If a poor person do not have the money to deposit the amount of bail or surety, then he should be assisted by the state and he should also be required to be released without securing that money. Another case law is very popular. This bail is the rule and jail is the exception. Justice Krishna Iyer has categorically stated way back in 1977 in State of Rajasthan versus Balchan 1977 4 SCC 308. Bail is a right of the person and jail is an exception. You cannot put the individual person in jail forever. Under trials are always finding it difficult to get the bail. Dear friends, if you are a good criminal lawyer, you have to argue the case of an accused or an applicant and secure his bail. This is the first step for a lawyer in a criminal trial. Secure a bail for your accused. Dear friends, Honorable Bombay High Court in Stephen Muller versus State of Maharashtra in writ petition number 2939 of 2009, in a judgment dated 23rd of June 2010 in para number 10, has stated that it is well settled position of law that if the offence is bailable, the accused is entitled to be released on bail even where he does not make an application for the bail. It is the responsibility of the concerned police officer, if he has arrested or detained an accused for bailable offences, to inform him about his right to be released on bail. Similarly, it is also settled position of law that where a person or accused of bailable offence appears or is produced before the magistrate, it is the responsibility of the magistrate to inform him about his rights to get the bail or to be released on bail. Dear friends, a new section 436A has been introduced in the CRPC in the year 2005 to solve the problems of the under trial prisoners as per the directions of the Honorable Appeals Court in Criminal Writ Petition number 310/2005 by Honorable Justice Kurian Joseph and Honorable Justice Rohinton Nariman. As per section 436A of the CRPC, a person who has undergone detention for a period exceeding half of the maximum detention for a period of imprisonment for a particular offence shall be released on his personal bond with or without sureties. If the imprisonment is of 5 years and if the under trial prisoner has already undergone half of the sentence, then he is entitled to get the bail. This is also a default bail case as similar to section 167(2). So 436A is specifically carved out. While the trial is going on, the accused cannot remain into jail forever or for the entire period of the imprisonment which the offence is attracting. So if 50% of the jail period has already surpassed of the offences committed by the accused, then he has to be released as per section 436A of the CRPC. Dear friends, section 438(2) of the CRPC provides that the High Court or the Sessions Court may impose some conditions while granting the application of the bail. The conditions may be: 1. That the accused person shall make him available for the interrogation by the police officer as and when required. 2. That the person shall not directly or indirectly make any inducement or threats or promise to any witness or the complainant. 3. That a person shall not leave India without the previous permission of the court. So these are common conditions, dear friends, which are usually imposed by the Honorable Magistrate under section 438(2) of the CRPC. Dear friends, any condition to be imposed under subsection 3 of the section 437 of the CRPC must be reasonable and judicious and must not tantamount to refusal of the bail. Honorable Supreme Court has held this in Sandeep Jain case 2000 CRLJ 807 Supreme Court. In appropriate cases, the court should release the under trial prisoners without insisting for the surety. The court should take into the following factors which are required to be considered. 1. The length of his residence in the community. 2. His employment, status, history or financial condition. 3. His family ties and relationship. 4. His reputation, character and monetary condition. 5. His prior criminal record, including any record or prior release or recognition or grant of any bail. 6. The identity of the responsible members of the community who would vouch for his reliability. 7. The nature of the offence, charge and the apparent probability of the conviction and likely sentence insofar as these factors are relevant. 8. Any other factor indicating the ties of the accused to the community or bearing the risk of willful failure to appear. Dear friends, as we have seen in Hussain Ara Khatun's case, the Honorable Supreme Court has directed that even a person who cannot afford to make the payment of the bail bond or the surety amount should be required to be released on personal bonds. In Jivaji Jadeja and others versus State of Maharashtra, 1987 CRLG 1850 or 1987 AIR Supreme Court 1491, the Honorable Supreme Court has held that order granting or refusing bail is not necessarily required to be a speaking order. Alterations of conditions. The magistrate who granted bail has power to cancel it or alter its conditions. Held by Honorable Supreme Court in Brijesh Singh versus State of Karnataka 2002 CRLJ 1362. Supreme Court further says that the condition of the bail which became absolute on completion of the investigation can be set aside. Pratima Patra versus State of Orissa 2008 2 Crimes 178 Supreme Court. Bail by magistrate in Sessions Tribal case. The Honorable Supreme Court has stated in Prahlad Singh Bhati versus NCT Delhi AIR 2001 SC 1444 that the magistrate ordinarily should ask parties to go to Sessions Court for the bail in Sessions Tribal cases. If magistrate prefers to give bail in such cases, then he has to specifically negativate the existence of reasonable grounds for believing that such accused is guilty of an offence punishable with the sentence of death or imprisonment of life. So let us look into certain cases. For cancellation of the bail, the basic criteria for cancellation of bail are interference or even an attempt to interfere with due course of justice or any abuse of indulgence or privilege granted to the accused. Ram Govind Upadhyay versus Sudarshan Singh 2002 CRLJ 1849 Supreme Court. The power of the court under the section to cancel the bail can be invoked either by state itself or by any aggrieved party, even suo motu as held in the case of Puran versus Ram Vilas, AIR 2001, Supreme Court 2013. As per section 437, 5 of the CRPC, any court which has released a person on bail may, if it considered it necessary to do so, cancel the bail and direct such person to be arrested and to be put into custody. In R.J. Sharma versus R.P. Patankar, 1993, CRLJ, 1993, Bombay, it is held that magistrate ought to pursue the application for cancellation of the bail and must give an opportunity or chance to the accused to be heard. Without hearing the accused, the bail cannot be cancelled. The Honorable Supreme Court has also held that the bail cannot be cancelled on flimsy grounds. There has to be cogent, overwhelming and serious reasons or circumstances by which the bail needs to be cancelled. Dear friends, for grant of anticipatory bail, Honorable Supreme Court has also laid down certain principles. In Gurbakh Singh Sibbiya and others versus State of Punjab, reported in 1982 SCC 56, the Honorable Supreme Court has laid down following principles with regard to the anticipatory bail. A. Section 438(1) is to be interpreted in light of the Article 21 of the Constitution of India. B. Filing of FIR is not a condition precedent to exercise the power under Section 438. C. Order under Section 438 would not affect the right of the police to conduct investigation. D. Conditions mentioned in Section 437 cannot be read into Section 438. Dear friends, the Honorable Magistrate or the Court has to work as per the principles laid down by the Honorable Supreme Court. If victim of the offence appears in court and seeks permission to be heard, then opportunity must be also given to the victim or the complainant. In his case, 2009, All MR, CRI, Criminal 687, Vinay Poddar versus State of Maharashtra, and 2014, All MR, Criminal 833, Dr. Krishna Ayappa Patil versus State of Maharashtra. So, a complainant also has a right to be heard at the time of the bail. If the interim bail was not granted to the applicant and main application of bail is rejected, then he is not entitled to get any interim protection till approaching the higher court or the superior court. Successive application for anticipatory bail after rejection of the earlier application is also tenable in law, but for there must be some change in circumstances. Kamlesh versus State of Maharashtra, 2007, 2, MHLJ 850. The period of 90 days or 60 days has to be computed from the date of detention as per orders of the magistrate and not from the date of arrest by the police. Central Bureau of Investigation versus Anupam Kulkarni, 1992, 3 SCC 141. Consequently, the first period of 15 days mentioned in section 167(2) has to be computed from the date of such detention, and after the expiry of the first 15 days, it should be only judicial custody. Dear friends, Honorable Apex Court has observed in State of Madhya Pradesh versus Rustum, reported in 1995, 3 Supplement SCC 221, that in computing the period of 90 days or 60 days for the default bail, the day on which the accused was remanded to the judicial custody should be excluded, and also the day on which the challan is filed in the court. So dear friends, it is very necessary for the court to calculate the period of 60 days or 90 days for the purpose of granting default bail under section 167(2). The Honorable Bombay High Court in Baburao versus State of Maharashtra, 1994, CRLJ 192, Bombay, held that this right of a default bail is not absolute and indefeasible and can be exercised before the charge sheet is filed. In series of ruling, it has been held that the right can be exercised only before filing of the charge sheet when you are seeking a default bail, and if the charge sheet is not filed within a stipulated period of 60 days and 90 days, then the default bail application can be made. But once the charge sheet is filed, this default bail application cannot be filed. In the case of State of Maharashtra versus Rajendra S. Nahar, 2004, bracket 2, MHLJ 555, it was held by the Honorable Bombay High Court that the right of the accused to be released on bail after expiry of the 60 days or 90 days is not available to the applicant if the application is filed after filing of the charge sheet. Duty of the magistrate to inform accused about his right. Dear friends, in a celebrated judgment of the Husainaira Khatun versus Home Secretary, State of Bihar, reported in AIR 1979, SC 1369, it was observed by the Honorable Supreme Court that when an under trial prisoner is produced before the magistrate and he has been in detention for 90 days or 60 days, as the case may be, the magistrate must, before making an order of further remand to judicial custody, point out to the under trial prisoner that he is entitled to be released on bail. The state government must also provide at its own cost a lawyer to the under trial prisoner. Dear friends, we have today discussed the concept of bail in Criminal Procedure Code. If you have liked this video, please like and share it with your friends. If you have not become a member of my channel, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell button so that you can get the notifications as and when the video is uploaded. Dear friends, I am trying my best to give the case laws to all young lawyers. If you have any suggestions, please also give in comment box. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.